Hey, I'm glad you can make it to the video. It's Divest here, and I'm here to go over. This is going to be a little bit longer guide here. We're going to talk about resources and how you can gain them and different ways to gain them. And this is going to be a little bit more in depth than the last previous videos, which are just really quick. So let's talk about resources. Your resources are up here in the top of your screen. You have your metal, plastic, and gas. These three resources are used for everything that you're going to do within Crazy Tribes, whether it's upgrading buildings or if it's exchanging it for ammunition to take over more buildings, if it's for building troops, or doing upgrades in the lab. I mean, everything that you do in Crazy Tribes revolves around resources. So what do you do to get them? Well, there's no simple answer. There's three different ways you can do it. And if you watch the farming guide, you'll know that we can farm by attacking mutant bases, much like I am here. I'm able to attack mutant bases. And every time you attack a mutant base, you'll come back with resources. So, you guys will bring, your trucks will bring back resources, and you get a healthy amount of resources, and it's a great way to gain resources. There are a few problems with that, though, in that you can only do it during the daytime, and during the nighttime, if you still want to farm, you have to send 2 scouts, and you always lose 2 scouts, so you're always, losing some troops. So that is a downside. Another downside is that if you have a lot of players in your immediate area, and they're farming the same bases as you, then you're going to get a couple duds, and you might not get too many resources sometimes from farming. And that's a big problem. It's especially a big problem on a new server. When it's a brand new server, everybody's just in a mad scramble for resources, and it's pretty much just a free-for-all, and you're not getting a whole lot of return from it. So during a new server, a brand new server, you have to look to other ways of producing resources. And we're going to talk a little bit about those. So we're going to click down here and go back to our base. And we're going to go back to our buildings list by clicking up here. And one way of getting resources is by upgrading the foundry, plastic factory, and digestion tower. Both of those 3 buildings, they produce resources. If you click here on the metal foundry, it says right here it produces 10 metal per hour, and that's not great at all, obviously. That's actually really bad, but luckily the first upgrade takes 15 seconds, so in 15 seconds I think your second level it's 15 per hour, and at the maximum it's somewhere around 500 per hour, which is pretty cool. It's a lot of resources. So for right now, you can actually upgrade those. That's a decent way of getting resources. That's a really cool way of getting resources. So we're going to go ahead and upgrade the foundry. And as you can see, it takes about 15 seconds, and we're all out of resources. So what else can we do to get resources? Because obviously these upgrading buildings are expensive, and you want to upgrade the stores too. You don't necessarily want to focus on upgrading your production buildings, which is your metal foundry, plastic factory, and digestion tower. So what do? Well, you can click here onto the Atomic Cafe, and you see that you have missions. These missions are awesome, and you want to focus on these missions, especially in the beginning of a new server. This is single-handedly the best way to grow. And once you get a full upgraded Atomic Cafe, and you have enough troops to run all the missions, this is how you want to do it. This is how you want to run missions. This is how you want to gain resources, because it's so simple. You don't really want to farm later on because it's so time consuming. It takes so much time to farm, and it's very time consuming. I mean, if you have the time, farming is great. And if you're really on a grind and you're really motivated, the best way is to combine all of these techniques that I'm showing you to upgrade your production buildings, to run missions in the cafe, and also to farm. But if you're limited on time and you don't want to sit here all day farming and waiting for your production buildings, your atomic cafe is the easiest way to go. Literally, you show up and you click these three on, and once they're on, you click this one button right here, and it runs all three missions at once. And as you upgrade, you're going to get more missions. So that's really cool. That's really cool. And literally, you know, you're going to have a bunch of missions, and you click one button, and then boom, you are upgrading all of your missions at once. Or I'm sorry, you're running all of your missions in your Atomic Cafe all at once. So it's really cool, really, really cool, really useful, and that is how I grew really fast on USA 3. I was the #1 American player on USA 3 for quite a while, until the Russians decided to take a few of my bases. And that's pretty much it, though. You know, if you have any questions, feel free to ask, leave a comment, or, you know, you can message this account if you can find him directly, and I'll be glad to answer any questions that you may have. Oh, you know what, one quick thing I want to go over too is that in the missions here, if you click on collect scrap, for example, you're going to see that units required, 5 scouts, okay, and the reward is 10 to 20. Takes about 10 minutes, and you get about 10 to 20 you know, resources per run. It's not the best, honestly. It's really not the best, but it's also not the worst, especially when you're starting out. And if you look here, you know, later on you're going to get more missions as you upgrade your Atomic Cafe, and you upgrade it. You can click here. And as you get more missions, there's going to be different troop requirements. So, you know, you're going to have to click on it and see what units are required, and you're going to build those troops in your arsenal. And go here and click on your arsenal, and you're going to recruit them. As you can see, we can only recruit scouts. So I believe for the next upgrade of the Atomic Cafe, there's a mission that requires you to have 10 knockers. Well, there's no knockers here. So in that case, we're going to have to upgrade our arsenal. So we click here when we have resources and room in our queue, then we'll click there and upgrade our arsenal. And if you upgrade your arsenal enough times, it'll start to unlock other troops. So I hope you've enjoyed this introduction to resources video tutorial. So, you know, like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment on YouTube, or you know, send me a message, and I'll be glad to help.